All right, today we're going to talk about something that might just change the way you look at your goals. It's this powerful idea from the book Atomic Habits, all about how tiny improvements, we're talking just 1%, can lead to some truly incredible results. Let's jump right in.
So let's start with the question I think we've all asked ourselves at some point. You know how it is, right? You set this huge goal. Maybe it's a New Year's resolution and you start off so strong, just full of energy. But then fast forward a few weeks, maybe a month, and poof, the motivation is just gone. And you're right back where you started. So frustrating. Why does this keep happening to us?
Well, a big part of the problem is what I like to call the myth of massive action. See, we're kind of taught that to get real success, you need this huge heroic effort. Like we're all waiting for some big bang of motivation to strike us like lightning. But you know what? That's a myth. And honestly, it just sets us up to fail. The real secret to making a change that actually sticks, it's much quieter, it's smaller, and believe it or not, it's way more powerful.
Okay, so to really see how this works in the real world, let's look at one of the most amazing turnaround stories in sports history. I'm talking about the British cycling team. For over 100 years, they were a joke. I mean, literally a punchline in the cycling world. They were so bad that one of the top bike companies actually refused to sell them bikes because they were afraid it would hurt their own brand. That's how bad it was.
And then, in 2003, everything changed. A new coach, Dave Brailsford, came on the scene, and he brought this simple but kind of radical idea with him. He called it the aggregation of marginal gains. Sounds fancy, right? But the idea was super simple. Break down everything, and I mean everything that goes into riding a bike, and then just improve each little part by 1%. Just 1%. He was basically making a bet that all these tiny little improvements would add up. They would compound into something huge.
And when I say they went deep, I mean they went deep. They looked at all the obvious stuff, of course, like redesigning the bike seats and rubbing alcohol on the tires for better grip. But they didn't stop there. They got obsessed with the tiny details nobody else was even thinking about. Like testing different massage gels to see which one helped muscles recover faster, teaching riders the absolute best way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick. They even found the perfect pillow for each individual rider to get the best possible night's sleep. Absolutely nothing was too small to improve.
So, did all this obsession with tiny little details actually work? Oh, you bet it did. The results were just staggering. The British cycling team went from being a joke to absolutely dominating the sport. And this number here, this shows you the crazy math behind it all. If you get just 1% better at something every single day for a year, you don't end up 365% better. No, you end up 37 times better. That right there is the mind-blowing power of compounding.
But here's the thing. Getting 1% better, it's not just about what you do. And this is where it gets really interesting. It's about who you are. It's about your identity. This quote really says it all. Behind every system of actions are a system of beliefs. See, if you want to make your habits stick for good, you can't just change your actions. You've got to start deeper. You have to change what you believe about yourself.
So this leads us to this really big shift in thinking. We need to move away from what are called outcome-based goals and start focusing on identity-based goals. So what does that mean? Well, most of us, we set goals based on the outcome, right? I want to lose 20 pounds. That's the destination. But a much more powerful way to think about it is to focus on your identity. Ask yourself, who is the kind of person that I want to become? Maybe the goal isn't to lose 20 pounds, but to become a person who moves their body every day. It's a total game changer. The focus isn't on the finish line, it's on becoming the kind of person who can cross it.
Let me tell you a quick story that illustrates this perfectly. There's this entrepreneur, Brian Clark, and his whole life, he had this one annoying nervous habit. He bit his fingernails, constantly. And he tried everything to stop, just raw willpower, telling himself stop, but nothing ever worked for long. Then, one day he did something totally out of left field. He went and got a professional manicure. And all of a sudden, his nails looked amazing. He started to feel this pride in them, and that's when it clicked. His identity shifted. He stopped seeing himself as a nail biter. Instead, he became a person who takes pride in his nails. That tiny little shift in how he saw himself, that was everything. He never chewed them again. Okay, so first key, focus on your identity. Got it. Now for the second huge secret, and this one is a big one. You need to become an architect of your environment. We have this idea that people with amazing self-control are just born with more willpower, but that's not really true. The secret is they are just really good at designing their surroundings so they don't have to use willpower all the time. And there's this really shocking study from the Vietnam War that just nails this point home. During the war, researchers found something that just blew their minds. Over 15% of the American soldiers serving in Vietnam were addicted to heroin. And back then, people thought heroin addiction was basically a life sentence, a permanent condition.
Now, just take a look at this chart. It's pretty wild. For a typical person who goes to rehab for heroin, the relapse rate is incredibly high. We're talking 90%. 90% go back to using. But now, look at the soldiers from Vietnam. When they came back home, their relapse rate was only 10%. That means 9 out of 10 of them just stopped, almost overnight. How on earth is that even possible?
Well, the answer wasn't some superhuman willpower. It was simpler and way more profound. It was a complete, radical change of environment. Think about it. In Vietnam, the triggers, the cues for the habit were everywhere. The stress of war, the easy access to the drug, their social circle. But when they flew back home, all of those triggers just vanished. The environment changed, and just like that, the addiction dissolved for most of them. It was never about the person being weak. It was always about the power of their environment.
This quote just sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. It's this powerful force that's guiding you, pushing and pulling you every single day, and most of the time you don't even notice it. But here's the best part, the really good news. You don't have to be a victim of your environment. You can be the architect. You can design it. And it's not as complicated as it sounds. Here are 3 simple ways to start being your own architect. First, prime your environment for success. Want to go for a run in the morning? Put your running shoes and clothes right by your bed the night before. Simple. Second, reduce friction. That just means making the good habits as easy as possible to start. Remove any little step that might make you quit. And finally, do the opposite for your bad habits. Remove the negative cues. If you want to stop eating junk food, don't have it in the house. Make your temptations invisible. That way you don't have to waste all your energy and willpower trying to fight them off. So let's bring this all home. To wrap it all up, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. Forget about massive goals and huge life-altering changes for just a second. Instead, just ask yourself this: who is the person you truly want to become? And once you have that in your mind, what is the smallest, most tiny, almost laughably easy step you can take today, right now, to start becoming that person?